Hello and welcome to the Oxfordshire Hospital School. My name is Steve Lowe, Head Teacher at the Hospital School, and I hope that this short presentation gives you a bit more of an understanding as to what we do and where we do it.
It's essential for our pupils that staff completely buy in to the vision and values of the school. These two values have become our mantra when decision making. The OHS feels like it's more than just a school. It's actually a very special place that provides some of the most vulnerable young people with incredible experiences and opportunities. Emotionally, it can be a difficult place to work, and although staff are exceptionally supportive of one another, personal resilience is an essential characteristic. Although it has its challenges, the OHS has to be one of the most rewarding places to work. We have three vision statements that guide our improvement. Trust is a crucial element of our work. Our planning and teaching is all genuinely bespoke and needs to be completely responsive. Reflecting, learning and improving are intrinsic to our work. So where do we work? I suppose the clue is in the title to a certain extent, in that we are the Oxfordshire Hospital School. So we work across the whole county. Our staff are working when we're working in our outreach sector, providing home tuition for young people from Banbury down to Henley, from Bicester down to Wantage, across the whole county. But we do work in specific inpatient settings and sites across the city of Oxford as well. To start with, as you can see at the top there, circled in pink, St Nicholas Primary School is currently our school's business and administration hub, and also used by our outreach team as a hub for them to come and go from, and for them to store their resources as well. And often if they're teaching remotely, they will come and work from our rooms at St Nicholas Primary School. We're soon to move, however, to the bottom right of the map. At the bottom there you can see to a site called Cuddeston Corner, which is currently being used by the children and families teams across the city of Oxford. So we're going to share the build there after it's been refurbished. It's going to be a beautiful new resource for us, long awaited, and we should be moving into there in January 2023. In terms of our inpatient work, one of our settings, the Children's Hospital Teaching sector, is predominantly centred around the John Radcliffe Children's Hospital. More of that and the other inpatient sites shortly as part of this presentation. Also, as part of the Children's Hospital Teaching sector, we work down at Helen House and also the adjacent hospice at Douglas House hospice site, as was Douglas House. That's just off the Cowley Road. We have one member of staff that works down at Helen House Hospice, providing education to young people who are on respite care or end-of-life care. And then also at Douglas House, which used to be an adult hospice, is now used by the Oxford University Hospital's chronic pain programme. And we have a member of staff who's been teaching as part of that pain programme for some period of time now. The final inpatient site that we work within is the Highfield Adolescent Unit, and the soon-to-open site of the Psychiatric Intensive Care Unit, also known as a PQ, which is just adjacent to the Highfield Adolescent Unit and due to open in January 2023 as well. There is one more site, I suppose, that we work at, and that's Hill End Outdoor Education Centre, which is just off the A420 to the west of Oxford, which we use in our outreach teaching sector to support young people with a variety of skills to assist them into reintegration back into their school or their local communities.
So in a little more detail, each of the settings that we work at. So the John Radcliffe Children's Hospital photograph on the left-hand side there is a relatively new building actually, and we're very fortunate to have three very specific classrooms, which you'll see some of the insides of in just a moment, to teach over 100 pupils on a daily basis, including not teaching 100 each day, but up to 30 probably each day.
The Children's Hospital setting of the Oxfordshire Hospital School encompasses teaching at the Children's Hospital and at Helen and Douglas House. Teachers and high-level teaching assistants work across these locations, providing educational support to pupils in the hospital settings. The role of education in the life of a pupil with medical needs is our foremost consideration. We teach pupils from foundation stage right up to Key Stage 5, all of those who are inpatients at a hospital. Pupils are taught in purpose-built classrooms on wards or in single rooms. Staff also support pupils on adult wards and in the paediatric intensive care and high dependency units, if they're able to access education. Much of the teaching is on a one-to-one basis, and group work will also take place wherever possible. Approximately half of the pupils we work with in inpatient settings are resident of Oxfordshire, and the others travel some significant distances for their medical treatment. Two of the classrooms at the John Radcliffe are shown in these pictures above, and what you won't get from the pictures that you can see here are the range of activities that are taught. We work, yes, of course, on the core subjects, but also the foundation subjects, but also run activity workshops during predominantly morning sessions. We're able to provide food tech lessons to young people. A lot of art takes place. It's a very therapeutic way of engaging young people in education and making sure that they are prepared for education when they return to their enrolled schools.
Then we have the Highfield Adolescent Unit, specialist inpatient unit, as I mentioned previously, for young people aged between 11 and 18 with significant mental health conditions.
Good morning on a wet and windy day. Welcome to Highfield. Let's go on in and take a look.
I'll start.
Hi, welcome to the Highfield. This is our teaching area. Would you like to follow me through? We've got a fully stocked music suite here with lots of instruments and also a mixing deck. This is the nursing hub where the nurses work, and also we can use it as an observation base where the young people are working in breakout spaces. We've got a breakout space here with beanbags and also a distraction box so young people can de-escalate if they need to during the school day. Just here we've got a quiet working space. Young people sometimes sit mock exams or exams in here, and they can work out here if they need a bit of quiet space. We've made it really with low sensory stimulation so that lots of the autistic young people come and work in here. This is a fully stocked gym, although the lights aren't on. So we can use the gym space as well. We do a number of AQA unit awards with gym as a basis. This is the main teaching classroom where a lot of the academic work goes on. We generally work in small groups between 1 and 5, and young people can work with multiple groups going on all at one time. We have a fully stocked IT suite of Chromebooks which can be used as well. And then this is our art space, which we generally use to do creative work. We've got an artist that comes in on a Thursday at the moment, and also young people can self-direct to do arts activities or engagement activities in here to help them to refocus on their studies.
So the Highfield unit is a specialist built unit with the wards on the ground floor where the young people have all of their rooms, and they come up to the school site, which is on the first floor of the Highfield Adolescent Unit. And the classrooms that you saw there are accompanied with some office space that we use, some of which we share some meeting rooms with the medical teams as well. So it's a really integrated unit between the medical professionals and the education professionals who work hand in hand on a daily basis.
So the building in the foreground with a darker grey roof is the existing Highfield unit, which was described in the last couple of slides. This is an artist's view from the front of the building with a new PQ visible at the top left of the picture with a lighter grey roof. Although the buildings won't physically be connected, our staff at the hospital school and the staff at the Highfield Adolescent Unit will work really closely together between both the PQ and the Highfield, and there will be daily contact with staff between those two sites. Not just to confuse you, but because the floor plans are drawn with a reverse orientation, which I appreciate is a little confusing. This is a view of the PQ building from the rear. The main identifiers here are clearly the colour of the roofs, and that's what you'll be able to get from the previous artist impression that you had as well, if you look at the building on the bottom left hand side as well. So the one with the lighter grey roof, which is now in the foreground at the front to the right of that artist impression, is the new PQ. It's like the little brother, if you like, to the Highfield unit. This is a view of the PQ building from the rear then. The entrance to the building is at the top of the floor plan, which you can see is marked with the blue arrows there. The purple shaded rooms towards the bottom of the plan are the young people's bedrooms. The green rooms are for their shared use, so things like lounges, communal lounges for them to use. And there's also a sensory room for them there too. The pink shaded rooms that you can see there are for a calm suite, and the buff shaded rooms are the shared spaces that the school will use. I've just highlighted them there for you so you can see them in a little bit more detail. So we will have predominantly 2 of those rooms to work in on a day-to-day basis. They're well-sized, good-sized rooms with a lot of storage for us, and we'll be able to use those for teaching on a day-to-day, lesson-by-lesson basis. It's noted that all of the lessons will take place in those rooms. None of the lessons that we teach will take place in any of the shared spaces or any of the young people's rooms themselves. The young people will come through to those schoolrooms for their education on a day-to-day basis, provided they're well enough to do so. The PQ is due to open in December 2022, and the OHS staff will start working with young people from January 23. We have funding for 2 full-time equivalent teachers and 2 full-time equivalent HLTAs. But to ensure that we're ready and that the lead teacher is fully trained and prepared, we've made the decision to recruit to this post from September 22. Additional teaching staff and HLTAs will be recruited and deployed at the PQ to ensure a full curriculum offer for the main opening from January 2023. Psychiatric intensive care units are specialist wards that provide inpatient mental health care, assessment and comprehensive treatment to individuals who are experiencing the most acutely disturbed phase of a serious mental health disorder. The Highfield unit, adjacent to the PQ, is a general adolescent unit, or GAU. Staffing has been allocated in line with the national standards for PQs. So what sort of person are we looking for? The skills listed here are key characteristics of successful staff, and you'll see them listed in the person specification included with the job description. As I mentioned earlier, resilience is an essential characteristic, but staff also need to be incredibly flexible and adapt their approach to young people's presenting behaviour and the various situations that will arise. Being calm, consistent and relatable in your demeanour during unpredictable situations builds trust and facilitates positive working relations with young people. In terms of experience, we're looking for someone who's worked with young people who present with emotional and mental health difficulties. Knowledge and experience of young people with additional needs, including autism, ADHD and OCD, for example, will also be highly valuable. The NHS Trust will be using a positive behaviour support approach with the young people at the PQ, and we'll look to complement this in our work.
Hi, I'm Cairo. I'm Leader of Learning for the Outreach Teaching Service at the Oxfordshire Hospital
what that's all
School.
about for you.
So the Outreach Teaching Service is a commissioned service by enrolled schools. We work with Oxfordshire resident pupils and accept referrals from enrolled schools that are discussed in our weekly panel meeting. So our panel meeting is attended by myself, an assistant head teacher, the OTS administrator and a psychologist. So at these meetings we discuss the referrals that are coming in, whether they meet our admissions criteria, whether we need some more information. So all referrals that come in need to come in with medical evidence, and this needs to be consultant level medical evidence. So the medical evidence needs to document that there is a temporary and treatable medical need, that the pupil is receiving some sort of therapy or health input for, and that they, within the evidence, they're documenting what the plan might be for that pupil. So the aim of the Outreach Teaching Service is always to reintegrate pupils back into their enrolled schools. So the types of referrals that we might get, it could be ranging from back operations that mean the pupil can't attend school for a fixed period of time. It could be the pupils receiving cancer treatment and too unwell to attend school, Could be that they're neutropenic and can't attend school for a fixed period of time following a bone marrow transplant. It could be that their mental health is poor and they are suffering from anxiety and therefore can't attend school either. Most of the referrals that we receive into the outreach teaching service are for anxiety and depression. The age range of pupils that we work with pupils from primary through to secondary, the end of year 11. We can extend this offer if a pupil has an EHCP beyond post 16, but we haven't done that yet, and we don't do that very regularly. We're not asked to. The majority of the pupils that we work with within outreach probably fall within secondary and probably year 9, year 10 and year 11. So how we work in outreach, we deliver different pathways. So we have a keep up catch up pathway, which is an academic pathway to try and keep the pupils' curriculum content up while they're not attending school, to try and keep them up with the peers. We also offer transition pathway. It might be that the pupil doesn't need so much academic input, but they need some support to kind of get back into school. We can also do that. Some schools might ask us for professional support. So we might not do any face-to-face work with pupils, but we could support schools in writing individual healthcare plans and support them through that way, but not with any pupil-facing work. So for the majority of our students, they're either on a transition pathway or a keep-up catch-up pathway. So we might teach pupils within the community pre-COVID. So we could teach them in the community, in libraries or cafes to get them out of the house. We could teach them in the home, and we could also teach them in school. At the moment, we are pretty much all virtual and remote. So we're using remote technologies to teach currently, but we are offering some pastoral walks to try and reach some of our pupils that are finding the lack of contact difficult. So we work county-wide, so the whole of Oxfordshire, so from all the way into the south, all the way up to the north and in between. So we have currently 5 teachers, 4 HLTAs, an OTS administrator and myself that cover the whole county. I would say that communication is really important within outreach. We're so in different geographical regions that we need to really have good communication. So we have Google Meets each morning where we go through timetables and any notices. We have weekly pupil progress meetings where we discuss pupils and their holistic needs, but also their academic needs. So we have that weekly. We also have, as well as our kind of teaching offer, we also have the use of Hillend, where we teach Loric. That's the only place within outreach where you could have a group setting. Otherwise, everything else is done individually with the aim of reintegrating the pupils back into their home schools. Thank you.
The Medical Needs in Schools project it's grown quite dramatically over the course of the last couple of years. It started as being a relatively small project, just focused in and around the Oxfordshire area, but has become actually quite a national project now. It's, as far as we're aware, it's a unique partnership between education and health. So we work very closely with colleagues from the Children's Psychological Medicine team at the Oxford University Hospitals Trust, who support and assist us with much of the work that we do. And it does a couple of things. It offers us a credibility amongst our peers, both within the county and then nationally, around the work that we're doing. It provides us with a bridge between education and health that we, along with the CPM team at OUH, are able then to translate what the medical professionals and consultants are suggesting schools should be doing to support young people with medical conditions, and we bring the two together in a way which makes practical sense. The experience that we're able to bring to the table to assist in respect of that provides some clarity for schools to move forward and really provide the right level of support for young people with medical conditions.
I hope that you found that brief introduction to the school and to the role useful. If you have any further questions or would like to arrange a visit, please do give us a call. This is such a specialist area of education, and it's as important that you feel the job is right for you as much as it is for us to get the right candidate. Thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.